So one of DCEU fans' greatest fear is that Warner Brothers is going to reboot the whole damn thing. Well, maybe not. Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix. My name is Chris Wong. First, we're going to talk about the Batman spin-off series going over to HBO Max. Then, seemingly someone is showing up to film The Flash from Aquaman's world. Then, Samba TV released the numbers of how many people watched The Suicide Squad at home. After James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, James Gunn had another comment about collaborating with Warner Brothers on more DC projects. Then finally, what does James Gunn know about the status of the DCEU? Are they trying to reboot it? Are they trying to throw it away? What is going on with that? Alright, let's talk about the Batman spinoff. Now, we've known this for a while now that the series that's going on HBO Max, the spinoff to the Batman, is going to concentrate on the GCPD. But we don't know what it was going to be called. For a long time, people were calling it GCPD, Gotham Central, whatever. But it was mainly going to focus on GCPD. Well, this is an exclusive from the Illuminati. The Batman HBO Max spin-off series has an intriguing new working title of Arkham. What else can we uncover? Whoa! Okay, so the working title is Arkham, meaning Arkham Asylum? Now, yes, this is just a working title, but it seems like maybe a lot of the focus will be at Ark and not Gotham City. But they also said in the article that there could be a focus on a corrupt Gotham police officer, maybe a security guard that works at Arkham Asylum. In which case, we'll probably see a lot of villains if the focus is in Arkham Asylum. And that could explain why there's maybe not so much of a presence for the Batman, because it's contained in a smaller story in a prison with lots and lots of bad guys, corrupt officers. And I'm wondering, is this kind of like a Batman version of Prison Break? Which I think could actually work out. I mean, if they focus on Arkham Asylum and not Gotham City, this could differentiate itself from, Fox's Gotham series, which is pretty cool and all, but, I can't help but, wonder maybe one day they could just do a freaking Arkham movie already. Have Batman in there, stuck in Arkham Asylum. Maybe the last few episodes. I know. It's probably not going to happen that way. But it still would be cool. Alright, let's talk about Aquaman. Oh wait, no. Let's talk about The Flash. Now, DC Versal recently looked up on IMDb, and looking at the cast of people that are going to show up in the Flash movie. Yes, you got your Ben Affleck, you got your Michael Keatons, but look who's that? Who's that? Temuera Morrison? Listed as Tom Curry in the Flash movie. Yeah, he played Tom Curry, Arthur Curry's father in Aquaman. What the heck is he doing on the IMDb list? Now, the IMDb list is, pretty easy to just edit. But if they found it's incorrect, it would immediately change it. So far, they haven't changed it yet. Is Tom Curry gonna show up in the Flash movie? Now, this is an interesting aspect because we've got Batman, so we supposedly maybe have Superman, and we got Gal Gadot appears on a bus, so it's not really Wonder Woman showing the movie, unless she is. But since we're having this whole Justice League 1.5 going on in this Flash movie, why not a little bit of Aquaman? I don't know how that would actually fit in, but it will be kind of interesting. Maybe they meet up with Tom Curry and realize that maybe in that universe, Arthur Curry was never born, or something like that, which would show more of the difference between the world that the Flash ends up in as opposed to the current DCEU. I mean, why not? Aquaman and the Flash are all filming in Europe right now, so it would be pretty easy for Morrison to just hop on to the next set, just to film a little something. Draws maybe a little bit more connectivity with the rest of the DCEU. Alright, let's go talk about the Suicide Squad. Now, there's headlines everywhere that the Suicide Squad definitely flopped in the box office. But amidst cases of Delta variant rising and that it had a day-and-date release on HBO Max, it's kind of hard to argue that it actually flopped, because in a lot of cases with HBO Max saying that, hey, look, it was the second most streamed movie on HBO Max, it kind of feels like Warner Media is kind of sacrificing box office so that they can get better HBO Max numbers. Well, Samba TV released this. According to Samba TV, 2.8 million US households watched The Suicide Squad during its initial release and first weekend, which is right below Mortal Kombat's 3.8 million household. Now, I would like to add that this Samba TV only counts certain smart TVs that have those features where they can actually count which household viewed the movie. In this case, HBO Max has not released their numbers at all, but it kind of just reiterates what HBO Max said, that it is the second most watched movie on the streamer. So I guess in Warner Media's eyes, it's a success. And if they think it's a success, then James Gunn's going to get more projects. Let's talk about James Gunn now. James Gunn talked to the THR in regards to possibly future projects with DC. Besides Peacemaker, Walter Hamada told THR that the two of you have plans for more DC collaborations down the road. Without specifying, is there a project that's in the lead right now? Yes, but remember, we're dealing with a lot of different things. There are a lot of different things happening at the same time. You've got the Peacemaker show, obviously, and then there are other projects. So we'll see what happens. We're always talking about different things too. So there's a lot of dreaming going on, and dreaming is one of the most fun parts of movie making. We're dreaming about the different possibilities, and we're trying to find the right dream that can actually weave itself into reality in the proper way. Okay, so that didn't really specify anything that he's actually working on, but as he said before, he had a lot of interest in exploring more of the DC villainverse in regards to like Suicide Squad 3. He at one point in time, the original concept of Suicide Squad versus Superman, and he thought that Justice League versus Suicide Squad was not a bad idea. So there's definitely a lot of possibilities and where he could go in that, but it does sound like he is actively talking to Warner Brothers on those ideas. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, the one thing that a lot of fans are curious is whether or not Warner Brothers is actively using DCEU as the label for their DC films. And are they going to reboot it? Are they going to keep it? What's going on? Well, James Gunn had this to say. When THR asked, I know Warner Bros. DC tried to shed the label several years ago, but is the term DCEU still used internally? Yeah, it is. It is sometimes. Yeah, I think there's definitely an I. I got a lot more of it after the movie was made, frankly, because they're really just trying to make everything fit together much better. And I know a lot of it because of working on Peacemaker and doing that, which is definitely connected to the Suicide Squad, and it ends up being connected to other DC properties. So yeah, I think that more than ever, there's sort of an eye to connect stuff a little bit more. But also they're willing to take those properties like Joker and make them standalone DC properties. So I think that's a good balance. Two things I took from that, and one being that the Peacemaker show is going to connect to other DC properties besides the Suicide Squad? What is that about? And now I'm really curious. What is Peacemaker's new mission to save the world? How is it connected to other DC property? In which way we may get a hint of actual connectivity between the Suicide Squad and other ones, maybe Black Adam, maybe Shazam, or Superman, Batman, Flash. Any of those movies could definitely connect to Peacemaker. But also that he's saying that when he's talking to Warner Brothers, their intent is absolutely to continue the DCEU, meaning they're not looking forward to actually rebooting a lot of the characters that Zack Snyder had created for this DCEU. Yes, they're not exactly continuing the Snyderverse, in which is Justice League 2 and 3, ending that whole arc, but they are still taking Snyder's characters and continuing to evolve them. In this case, Ezra Miller is still the Flash, Jason Momoa is still Aquaman, Gal Gadot is still Wonder Woman, and Ben Affleck is still Batman. In all intents and purposes, that means Henry Cavill is still Superman. Unfortunately, Ray Fisher is not Cyborg at the moment, as he won't be working with any projects that Walter Hamada is involved. Hey, maybe in a few years when Walter Hamada's contract is over and if he decides to leave, that's when Ray Fisher can come back. It still doesn't make sense that they're letting the DCU continue, and yet they let Joker have its own universe, Matt Reeves' Batman's own universe. Man, why can't Zack Snyder just have his own universe on HBO Max? Just let him finish 2 and 3, and that's it. In any case, I don't know what their plans are, but according to James Gunn, they have every intention to keeping this DCU and actually looking to connect these movies more and more as they continue to grow.